Hi guys, today I'm going to be telling you guys about my top 3 favorite sad love stories. These are kind of like yearning slash falling out with each other slash second chance type of books. So if you guys are looking for something like that, then these are my top 3 recommendations for that genre. I love reading sad books in general, but if you're looking for like a love story that's like really sad and like where the two characters fall out and then maybe possibly fall back in, like these are the type of books I would recommend. All these books have made me cry, like all these books have made me bawl my eyes out. I will be listing them in order of which made me cry the least to which made me cry the most. Okay, so let's get into it. Starting at number 3 would be Normal People by Sally Rooney. I've seen this book all over like different videos, different people reading it, different people sharing their thoughts, and I've heard a lot of hype about it, but I've also heard like negative things about it. But I actually never picked it up until my piano teacher actually recommended it to me. She was the one who told me this is her go-to book, this is the book that she puts in her bag and carries all around, and she loves it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna read it then. So I read it just over a month ago. I know this book has been out for over like 5 years, and the show has been out for like over 3 years now, so I'm a little late. If you're like 15 plus, this is age appropriate to read. I went down the lore of like the actors, and I've seen so much edits of the show, so these are my thoughts. I liked it, but I wouldn't say I loved it because it was very confusing, wary of the fact that they were always around each other but in a casual way. But then it was also more than a casual way, but they couldn't communicate that out with each other. So basically it was confusing for me in that aspect. Is it casual now? Is it casual now? This book title is called Normal People, meaning these are the things that normal people in everyday lives go about. Like there's probably someone experiencing the same thing right now, you know. So that's what I like about the book, because it's real and it applies to normal people living normal lives in every day. In that aspect, like that's what the book is about. And find themselves like destroying each other more than they are helping each other. Also, the book doesn't have quotations, which I was really confused at the start, because I was like, I thought there would be like quotations when the character says something, but there was no quotations. I got used to that. Like that was fine for me, I didn't mind. But the fact, I don't know, the plot itself was confusing, but then at the end when I read it, I was like, this makes so much sense. Okay, so book number 2 is Love and Other Words. This book is centered around a girl and a boy who have met in their teenage years, and the girl suffers from trauma from like losing her mom and having only a single dad, and all that trauma of like moving into a different house in that aspect, but also having little to no friends. And the boy who lives next door actually becomes really close because they both love books and they both love reading, so they share that like knowledge with each other, but they also share that love for like books with each other, so they grow really close. And as they grow closer and closer, there isn't really like tension as in like they love each other, because again they're really young. But as they grow older, before they both leave for college when they're 18, realize they have feelings for each other. I think that dynamic is really cute, because knowing someone through and through for years as a friend before you become like a lover is so precious, in the way that you know everything about them and you're comfortable around them. Their colleges are not far at all. They kind of do long distance in a way that's like emailing, writing letters to each other, and they make it work. And I love how they're just communicative. Like they are very communicative, and again, that's one benefit of being friends before you become lovers. If something's bothering one, like they'll tell the other person, you know, so it's no like barriers between each other even though they are distantly apart. This book is told in only the girl's perspective. The girl starts out like in her childhood, and then the next chapter is her now, and then the next chapter is like her back in her childhood days. Like it's kind of told in that format, which I thought was really unique. I've never read a book that was told in that way, but I actually really liked it. When they grow older and older, there was this one incident, and if I say it, it's like gonna spoil the whole entire book. So there's this one incident that broke them apart for 11 years. 11 whole years. They go no contact. Like he tries to write to her 100 million times, but she never responds. She gets a new phone number, she gets a new everything, and she just starts life all over again. And then comes a day where she's about to go to her nursing job, but she runs into him because they are at the same cafe. This book is actually placed in San Francisco, which I love because I love San Francisco so much. So reading the book, I was like, oh my gosh, I love San Francisco. The girl sees him and they see each other and they reunite finally and they talk for after 11 years. But the thing is, the girl right now is in an engaged marriage, which she like, it's a convenient marriage. Like, it's not like she loves the other guy, but it's like convenient, what's best for her. And the guy is in a relationship with his girlfriend. They want to know what happened, like for, at least for the guy. Like, the guy is very confused because he got left after 11 years and he never got like what the girl's perspective on was and like why she left. It's just like the fact that a little miscommunication can last a long time, which I think that message was really sad. Eventually they find their way back to each other after they see each other. Of course, like, the sparks start again. It goes really slow though. It goes really slow because the girl is, first of all, very confused. She doesn't want to say anything because these things that happened 11 years ago were very traumatic and she doesn't want to say anything. But go read it. I loved it. Okay, so at number 1, the book that had made me cry the most was Before We Were Strangers. This book was so sad. When I tell you, like, I literally opened the first 2 pages and I started crying. I knew it was gonna be sad. Like, I read the 2 first pages and I knew this book was gonna crush me. And this book is placed in New York City with 2 college students at NYU. I love New York City, so the placement of this book was like, oh my gosh, I love New York City. It's basically about 2 college students who have dorms right next to each other and they bond over the love of music, Jeff Buckley's music specifically, and they spend a lot of time with each other because the girl plays an instrument and the guy loves taking photos, so they kind of bond with each other on that level because they're both artists. And they start off friends. They start off really slow, like there's unspoken tension between them, but it's like more platonic than romantic at the start. The story is told from the guy's perspective 15 years later, but the girl's perspective 15 years before. It starts off with the guy mostly just like him at work and so all that, like, and how he's trying to find her back. And one day he does. Right when they see each other, the guy already got off, so the girl's like looking out the window, and that's when they realize it's each other. But it's too late because the subway speeds off from there, and then they find each other back some way somehow. And then they tell each other like what's been going on for the past 15 years of their life. One was very heartbreaking because of what happened. Again, it was a misunderstanding. The guy eventually goes off for like an internship in Africa for his photography and the girl's left behind. But after that, there's a very big misunderstanding because of the distance, but also because like the guy couldn't write letters as much in return. And there's, okay, if I say it, I'm gonna spoil it, so I don't want to spoil it. Both of them go into marriage. They both have to really communicate out what happened in the past. They have a point in their reconnection where they realize like maybe we weren't meant for each other and maybe that's why we split apart. The plot twist at the end was very insane, and that actually made me cry more because I was actually appalled. But again, you have to read it to figure it out because I don't want to spoil it. I think it's so emotional and so sad to me is because they spent a whole 15 years apart from each other, and the love that they had while they were with each other was so genuine and pure. The things that they shared with each other, the family like problems, they would go through it together, and to understand someone on that like level. And as I was saying, the type of like it's like so hard to find that level of connection and that level of, you basically are soulmates at that point. Like, you basically are the founding structure of the other person's life, and I think that is so
with
beautiful
different people.
when you find something like that, not only romantically but also like platonically, like whatever it is. Like, I think having a person who just understands you without like you having to say anything is so beautiful, and that's what they had. So please go read all these 3 books if you really just want to cry and if you really like second chance tropes. I love second chance tropes so much. I think they're so realistic to everyday life, and I think that's why I like them the most, because I feel like for people, not everything works out in one chance with each other, whether it's romantically or platonically. The fact that two people can think about each other so much, but just because of miscommunications, and they can fall apart so easily, but still like have their mind, soul, and heart attached to each other every day of their lives is so meaningful. Okay guys, so I want to say the songs that I think most resonate with these books, especially Before We Were Strangers. The one that got away by Katy Perry really resonates with the lyrics. Really resonate with Before We Were Strangers, especially the lyrics. I'm not your muse anymore. Sidelines by Phoebe Bridgers, especially the lyrics. Watch the world from the sidelines. I had nothing to prove till you came into my life. I gave me something to lose, and I think that resonates so badly with these books. Bye bye. Thank you so much for watching.